Gang. I don't think that you can hear my potatoes boiling on the stove. I'm boiling some potatoes for dinner. Yippee! It's probably in my favor that I have some food in my system. I might have ran some errands during lunch. Therefore, there is no lunch in my system. And it is almost 5 p.m. But we're cooking potatoes. We're cooking our potatoes. Oh, yes. And I decided, I'm taking note from the geniuses out there, to just have the same shirt on every time I record. Use less of brain. I really should have eaten something. But maybe when you don't eat something, the most dysregulated you is the most honest. I'm just kidding. I don't recommend skipping your meals. We've done enough of that. But yes, I am back and I'm in the same shirt because I'm following the steps of the geniuses out there. Once again, this is a safe space. I'm just gonna kind of go off the dome with some of the thoughts I've had. And I think the thought that I want to dive into today, it's the reality of downsizing for your dreaming. Or how do I say? It's the reality of downsizing, in my case, downsizing to pursue said dream, specifically because all of the finances, all of the financial things, that weight is on me. The weight is on just me, and I want it that way. I don't really want mom and dad to be like, hey, are you feeding yourself? No. I don't want my folks worrying for me, which is why I went on the trajectory of school, get a job, put dreaming on the back burner. We'll switch sometime. Give it 5 years or 6 or something. No, it was only really 1.5, not even 2 years, where we decided to switch. So I don't have the biggest, fattest wallet at this point in time, but I can get by. And I know just how lucky and how privileged I am. I'm saying this with a roof over my head and food on my plate at the end of the day, but it's not like I rest easy at the end of the night when my head hits the pillow and the lights dim, that I'm at ease. I am not at ease. I am seconds away from rupturing, I feel like sometimes, because the income ain't coming. There's nothing coming in, okay? And I have this pressure that I need to make shit work now. And yes, this very humbling episode that I have laid upon myself has been further revealing of how impatient I am as a human being. Yes, I'm very impatient and it's not working in my favor. It doesn't help. The worrying doesn't lessen or, lighten when you've also downsized on your life. The way that I grew up, I've been taught to just be able to sleep wherever, live however, just like make do with what you've got in certain conditions that are not as ideal. I can get by. But it is a little hard when I see my peers, my folks, my lovely friends, only go up. I sort of went up and then I shot right back down. I went and I lived that like I'm in my 20s. I have my own place. Paycheck is coming through. I'm keeping an eye on my potatoes. Paycheck is coming through and we don't gotta worry. Mom and dad, relax. You're chilling. You don't gotta worry for me. Especially because child of immigrants, you don't want them to worry about you. I don't want them to worry about me for the trajectory that I went on. That was the case. They really didn't have to worry for me. Got the degree, was getting the bag. Looking back at some of the shit that I used to edit, first of all, I kind of find myself hilarious. Just as equally, I find myself so cringy, but that's okay. That's part of the learning. That's part of the growth, okay? And some of those videos will forever stay in the dark. They will not resurface. I don't think so. Unless maybe I get a hefty sum, but I shan't right now. And I loved video editing back then. Granted, I grew up with the YouTubes, okay? I grew up, come on. If you grew up when I grew up, you are going to be running through those YouTube videos, okay? And I remember being 13 or something, running around with my iPad, learning teaching myself how to do iMovie, and being like, Mom, can I be a YouTuber? And she was like, hell no. There are pedos online. Shout out mom. She was really looking out for me like that, because the internet can be a crazy place. But again, I was like, okay, valid. We're just gonna like really enjoy this, but it's not gonna be a now thing. It's not gonna be a now thing. We're not sure if it's ever gonna be a future endeavor, which is why this is so ironic. It's gonna be a fun, silly little thing that we run around doing with our cousins and our friends, but this is not what adult Vivian will do. Didn't I say it? Didn't I say this is so ironic? But I fucking loved making silly little edits. At least they were silly to me. I loved making silly little edits. I just got in that fucking flow state every time. And I didn't have some of those nice editing softwares, okay? Hit Film 4. Try to use that on an old, maybe sat on laptop that was a hand-me-down from your aunt, okay? Like, I wasn't working with the most beautiful stuff, and sometimes I was drag and dropping with my finger. It was an iPad, okay? But I fucking loved that shit. I loved that shit. Tell me why I landed in a job. Tell me why I landed in IT, network IT. I'm talking any buildings you see out there. Go look at a building. Every floor of that building will likely have a closet, maybe, give or take, every other. Within that closet has a wire that runs to a computer, okay? Now, am I on the other end handling your computer, fixing it up right next to you underneath your desk? No. Trace that wire back to the closet, okay? I am in closets. I'm jumping from closet to closet. Let me turn off these potatoes. I wasn't timing the potatoes. I'm just going to assume she's good. Hopping from closet to closet, story of my life, okay? Troubleshooting in a dusty, musty room. I chose that particularly in a field where I knew exactly who I would be helping. It wasn't just some big tech thing. So I was like, you know what? I find purpose that way. That's cool. I can do that. And, we'll just, set aside fun money, and that's where we get the thrill in life. But I was severely unsatisfied. Where I am at now is a different type of dissatisfaction. It's crazy how I had almost everything I wanted, and it wasn't what I was looking for, though. Best believe I tried to do my plan B through a institutional training route, okay? Getting another degree, a separate degree, to maybe have a better foundation for this pursuit of my dreams. But I was rejected every time. It didn't matter how far along I got in the process. A no is a no. So I'll keep it short there. And maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm crazy that after big no's like that, I didn't just get a hint and kind of like go, okay, I guess this is not for me. I instead am here now today, jobless. I'm so sorry, Mom and Dad. So you can imagine how it's going to take a second for me to like wrap my head around what I just done to myself. I wish I could say I felt super proud and super excited to embark on this new episode. But I have to be so for real. It came out of a place where I was like sort of in a corner where I felt like there was no right time to just switch up my life. And the more I wait, perhaps the less likely I would ever do what I'm doing right now. But I knew I was uncomfortable in the comfortable. And so I just had to kind of rip the Band-Aid off. And now I'm dealing with, I guess, a bald spot from where I ripped said Band-Aid off. And I'm like, why is it so bald? Anywho, I don't know where that analogy was really going. I wish I could say that I feel so baller having, captained my own ship. But at the same time, it's not like I'm getting immediate results from what I've just done to reassure me that I'm on the right path. And yeah, this other career that I'm embarking on, it's known to be quite brutal. It's known to be a little bit like you might be knocking on that door for a while before anybody opens it or even peeps through the hole, So, like I mentioned before, there are certainly side quests that I'm going to embark on to continue feeling like I'm reaching goals in life that are outside of this main career, because a lot of what's this career is completely out of my control. I have to be actively doing other things so I don't lose my mind. This is the farthest I've been from family and friends as well. I chose this city because with me being the sole person responsible for my finances, for my financial situation, I had to pick a city where maybe I could get some grounding, some footing, some credits, and also not go broke. I don't think I'd be really I don't think I could. I don't know how people do it in New York. I don't know how they do it. I don't know if I can subscribe to being a starving artist, because then, like, what could I even provide for my guests or the audience if I'm starving? Perhaps I'm naive. Perhaps that is the way folks must be a starving artist to get started. But the choices I have made is because I don't know if I really want to do that. For my mental, especially. So the downsizing is the result of that. I'm trying to make choices that are responsible, that, I'm weighing quality of life, but also, like, how far can this get me, So it's not glamorous at all. It's not glamorous. And I won't lie. I think partly why my brain starts, glitching out is because I kind of had some glamour. I had glamour before in my previous episode of being who I was. Well-paying job, security, financial security, friends around, family not too far. I'm in California. What can I say? I was in a cool place, cool city. Nothing was that terrifying. This is a little scary. I won't have to worry about community once I land something. Once I get my foot in and start knowing people, I won't be so alone. But that's what it has been like. Hell, I went to drop off some film to get those photos developed. It's been long overdue. And I was yapping up a storm with the store man. But homie was 70. Vivian, you cannot... You need to make some friends your age, okay? And look, I'm trying. Please. I am trying. And that's where I'm like, wait, okay. Maybe you're just impatient. You've only been here for a month. Let it cook. But when you've, I guess, put aside the dream for so long, and then you finally give it attention, you finally take a chance on yourself, and things look so slow, it's just hard to feel reassured. That's all. And that's why I'm a little stuck. I'm not completely miserable. I don't want to let myself get there. I'm going to do my best to keep myself excited about things. Hell, I love editing. Now, I don't know if I'm going to do, videos like 75 hard or trying shadow work. No. Or, like I trained for the Ironman for the first time in my life. I'm not saying no. I'm not saying that's never going to happen. But my objective right now is, again, just to have evidence of what it was like to be me today. So maybe future me can look on it and laugh a little bit and say, there, you impatient little thing. Hopefully I'm rewatching these, surrounded by my folks. It's like a libation and lore night, okay? We're dropping shit down. We're dropping new lore. We're sipping some juice, and we're just yapping away. And I'm like, you didn't know this channel existed, but do you want to see just where my mind was in 2026? I'm an avid journaler, or maybe diary keeper. But I just can't believe, rewatching some of the old shit that I used to make, how lit up I was to make that type of content. And the type of content that I'm making is a reflection of who I am today. And that's to say, the reflection of who I was then was, I was just f***ing wanting to do silly shit, wanting to have fun. And I want to bring that Vivian back. I really do. I think that can happen, especially when you're as unemployed as I am. Yeah, maybe we could be silly again. But that's what it is. I think the weight of responsibility I feel has moments where it serves me and moments where it debilitates me. Again, this will pass. This is all temporary, but this is very f***ing real. It's so real. I miss my homies from back home, but I must trudge onwards. And hell, some of my homies, shout out, I have one friend from back home, and he was like, Vivian, I want to see you follow through on this. And I was like, yeah, okay. Heard as hell. I'll give this my freaking best. But At the same time, I honestly looked at my lease. I looked at the rules and regulations, and I looked at what breaking the lease would look like. And it's only 1 month in, so you could tell, I'm really trying out here. I had to close that window very fast. I would never describe myself as like extremely extroverted. I would say I'm a creature that has a social battery, that likes to use that social battery and then come home to recharge. And so far, I haven't had the opportunity to use the juice that I got in my social battery, and that feels off, you know? And hey, like the sociologists, the psychologists, the cog sci's, all the scientists, the ists, all the anthropologists, all of them, the therapists, the counselors, okay? They all note that your social relationships, the quality of your social relationships, not the quantity, really dictates the quality of your life, your level of happiness. So I'm gonna just remember that my social relationships are all back home. And I'm far from home, okay? It helps me to talk it out loud. Maybe if this ever reaches some audience out there, it may help whoever's watching this. It could very well be that I am the only person who watches this, and that's okay by me, because this is really like some accountability shit that I'm trying to do for myself, I'm not gonna lie. So there you go. At the end of the day, I told my folks, if I return from this saga, I better be shredded. The way the Chicagans out here tell me about winter, the winter arc I have better be astounding, okay? Okay? Because if there's anything I know, if you're unemployed, you got time. And if you got time, you better get shredded. But that's a story for another day. Okay, I'm gonna go eat my potatoes.